Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Frank Fast Forward. So as you know, these videos are all about finding your purpose and fast forwarding your life through sales and business mastery. So today we're going to talk a little bit about nutrition and specifically supplements and food intake. Basically all of the things that you take to help your mind, your body, your energy levels. So I take several different supplements to help me with different things. I work out a lot when I'm working for work, focus and mental health, mental strength, that's really important. So I'll first start by where I'm getting most of my calories. So about 50% of my calories comes from protein shakes, but what I do is I doctor them up quite a bit. So I start with milk. I know a lot of people don't like milk. However, I don't think anything else really beats it in terms of a drink choice. You can use water with your protein, you can use something else. So I start with milk, and what I do is I cycle through the different types of milk based on whether I'm bulking or cutting, whether I want a little bit more calories or a little bit less. I'll do whole milk or 2% or 1% or all the way down to skim milk, and then when I'm going really lean, I'll go down to water. So milk is your base, and it's great because it has fat, carbs, and protein all together. When you're taking supplements like vitamins and different molecules and chemicals, they need things to bind to, either fats or sugars or some other chemical bond needs to happen inside your body, inside your stomach. So milk is great because it creates this nice base that you can then build on. So after milk, I then do protein. I like the Optimum Nutrition Whey protein, the chocolate. I've been taking that for years. It's never steered me wrong. I get the big 10-pound bag maybe every 3 months or so. So that's going to be your best bet. And by taking 2 or 3 protein shakes a day, you'll be able to cover most of your protein needs. And what it does too is it allows you to be more flexible on your meals. So if you don't have the very best options for a meal, you can still take that meal, and because of your protein shakes, your macros won't get thrown off too much. So quick thing on macros, just breaking down easy, you want to do about 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, or also take all of your macros and look at how many calories you're getting from each source. You want at least 1/3 of your calories to be protein, and then the fats and carbs you can kind of adjust based on either personal preference or whatever you had that day, or maybe you want a little bit more energy, maybe you're doing some cardio, you can bump up the carbs. Maybe you want more protein synthesis, maybe some more testosterone, heavier lifts. You can go with a little bit more fat, but 1/3 of your calories should come from protein. So we have the milk, we have the protein shake. There's several things that I add to the protein shake, which set me up as precursors for the vitamins and molecules that I'm going to talk about later. So the complete stack is a muscle building stack, it's a mental stack, it's also an anti-aging stack. So once you hit about age 35, 40, you can start thinking about anti-aging, and then also testosterone support. As a man, it's going to be vitally important that you keep your test levels high, not just for muscle building, but also for your mental. So the things that I add to the protein shake, the first one is creatine. So I get just like a big bag of creatine from this company, Bulk Supplements. This was like a 1 kilogram bag, and it's lasted me over a year. I don't take a lot of creatine. I don't do the loading and unloading cycle. You don't really need to do that. Just take a small amount. Some people take 5 grams or 10 grams per serving. You only need a couple grams, like 1, 2, 3 grams. If you're doing that, you're gonna get 80-90% of the benefits right there without having to worry about any side effects. The side effects for creatine are super low anyways. A lot of people don't even experience them, but you don't need to go overboard. You end up just peeing it out. So I take a little bit with each shake, so I'm getting that uptake throughout the day. You don't really need to do this loading, deloading. Just start taking it in your shakes. And if you take the basic creatine monohydrate, it's not going to taste or affect the taste of your shake too much. You're really not even going to notice it. Make sure you're drinking enough water. I think that goes automatically, especially in the mornings. I like to hydrate up until I start pissing clear. So take some water. I take it at the sink, pee, and if I got to go back in or once I have to go like every 30 minutes, 45 minutes or so, I know I've had enough water for the day. So usually I start with a water fast in the morning till about noon, and then I start eating. I start with my shake, and in the shake, protein, creatine. I also add a couple other things, basically grains. And why these are important is because there's something in the grain called TMG, which is it helps with the linking of some of the chemicals that I'm going to talk about later, some of the advanced supplements. So the first thing you want to add to your shake, or in terms of grains, is this wheat bran. So this is the wheat kernel ground up, and they take the outside casing, and that is highly nutritious, and it has these trimethyls in it called TMG, and these help with methylation. And methylation is really important when your liver is synthesizing these vitamins and all of these molecules inside of your body. So I add a couple tablespoons of that. It's great. Think about a horse, right? Think about what a horse eats. They just eat like raw grain all day, and they're super lean, full of muscle, just like a horse's leg. When you take this stuff, just think you're turning your body into like a horse's leg, right? You're just getting massive. So wheat bran, you can get this in the aisle, Bob's Red Mill. You can also get it online if you can't find it in your grocery store. It's in the baking aisle, so you might have to hunt around for some of this stuff in the grocery store, but in general, once you find where you can find it, you'll be good. Get a couple bags, it'll last you a couple months. Just add a few scoops of that to every single shake you make. One other thing I like to add to my shake is chia seeds. These are just a good all-around thing to add. A lot of benefits to chia seeds. I won't get into all of them here. It also helps with digestion and number 2 and everything like that. So there's some fiber in there. The seeds actually break down, so humans are able to digest chia seeds. They have good fats, they have some protein in there. Again, think of like a horse. You're eating like a horse. The last grain that I add to my shakes is flaxseed. So once you mix all this stuff in, it's going to be almost like you're eating the shake. But remember, we're here to maximize the health benefits. We're not really worried about taste or texture. Like we're grown-ups here. It's not going to taste like a milkshake, like candy, but actually it doesn't taste too bad. With all this stuff, adds like a nutty type flavor to the chocolate. I actually enjoy them. I look forward to taking them when I do every day. So flaxseed, another important one. All sorts of like beta leucine and other like precursors, and just really good stuff for your body. And again, helps with the chemical bonds for the vitamins. So let's get into the actual vitamins. So first I start with a multi, and I like this one. It's called Orange Triad. And the thing I like about this one is you get a lot of pills for not a lot of money, and it also has glucosamine and chondroitin. So glucosamine and chondroitin, what they do is they help with your joints, and they help with all like the in-between spaces in your body, like the tendons and where the bones touch together. So when you wake up in the morning and you're all like achy and feeling old, I don't feel that way, especially when I take those. My father, before he passed, he used to wake up with like really like neck pain or something really stiff. He'd be like 75 or something. I'd say, yo, Dad, take a couple of these pills. After a couple of days, he'd be like, oh, I feel great. And his body was just back to normal. And I think that's because of the glucosamine in chondroitin. You can find that in other multis. You can find it as a standalone. But I like to get everything, especially all the other stuff that's in this orange triad. It's good. The serving size will tell you like 4 pills or 6 pills. You don't really need to take that much. Just take like 1 or 2 pills of these a day and you should be good. That's the thing with all of these multivitamins. If you're taking them every day, you're taking them consistently, you really don't have to take huge dosages to get the most benefit. Think of like the 80-20 rule, right? If you take half the recommended dosage, you're probably getting 80% of the benefits. You're also saving a little bit of money, and sure, you can double up and go big if you're like just doing a dirty bulk and getting huge, you know, take as much as you need. But for most people, especially like doing cuts, if you're not going crazy on calories and all that, you don't even have to do the recommended dose. They put the recommended dose as higher on a lot of these supplements in order to sell more, because you're taking more, you're consuming it in a faster period of time. So of course they're going to sell more of them. So that's what I take for a multi, the orange triad. Next one on my list, and this one's also just as critical, is fish oil. So these supplements are roughly in order of importance. So I take a fish oil with every meal and every shake. The fatty acids inside of this is amazing. Some people complain about the taste. I mean, it's a pill. I don't even taste it. They complain about whatever. People just complain. Remember, we're not here to complain. We're here to get results, right? We're not here to feel good and feel bubbly inside. We want to feel good mentally. We want performance. We want maximum performance in our body, in our mind. So fish oil with all anytime you're taking calories, take a fish oil. It's actually about 10 calories because it's all fat. It's about like 1 gram of fat, and it's all the fatty acid from the fish. It's basically like squeeze a fish and almost juice it. You get all the fish oil, and it's amazing for your joints, for your brain, for your eyes, for your organs. The fat also, with a lot of these vitamins, the fat solubleness of the vitamin, the fat from the fish oil helps with the binding and the absorption. So fish oil is another critical one. And then just broadly, I'm doing these all in order of importance. So if you're on a more limited budget, just start from the top, you know, protein, creatine, your grains, multivitamin, fish oil. We're gonna go to the next one now. And this is more of my energy and anti-aging stack, but I'm gonna start showing these in a less particular order. So this is a B complex. I get the Super B complex. This one is a pretty cheap pill. I think this bottle was less than $10. And the way you want to buy these is, if you're on a more limited budget, you can buy them over time at places like CVS, Shaw's, Stop and Shop, your grocery store. What they'll do is every couple of weeks, they'll do a 2-for-1 special on the vitamins. And they'll have these like little tags, and they'll say like buy one, get one free. So you want to kind of like hang out and wait for those. If they're not on the certain pills that you want, just wait a couple weeks and they'll kind of all refresh and change. And then that's when you want to buy big and invest for like a couple months. So save up like a couple $100 on all these supplements. Remember, you're investing in yourself, and that's the very best investment you can make, because you take yourself everywhere. You take your brain everywhere. You take your body everywhere. Investing in other things like, you know, stocks, bonds, houses, cars, whatever, jewelry. Like, you don't have that on you 100% of the time. When you invest in your body, invest in supplements, invest in things like your education, and you invest in yourself, you're getting 100% utilization of that investment. So it's highly, highly important. I couldn't recommend a more important thing. So go to the grocery store, you kind of weigh it, you look for the deals, and you get the deals. The next one I'm taking is CoQ10. So this one's a little bit more controversial about the benefits. I think it helps me. Basically, since I started doing this stack 3, 4, 5 months ago, I've been feeling amazing. I've been having amazing results at work. My body's been feeling good, tons of energy. So CoQ10 helps with the energy inside your mitochondria inside of the cell. So it helps with this intracellular energy process, this ATP. You can look all this stuff up. I'm not going to go into too much scientific detail because I'm just showing you what I'm taking, but CoQ10 is a great newer supplement, and it's really more towards that like brain health, energy health, anti-aging. If you're under 35, it's not going to be as important, but once you hit 35, 40, you're going to want to start taking some of these more boutique supplements, we call it. Zinc. Zinc is the next one. Zinc, and then also magnesium. I don't have them both. I don't take this every day, but I like to take this one after my big meal. And zinc helps with a lot of things, especially for men. Helps with testosterone support. You'll see these in a lot of test supplements and some of those like over-the-counter test support products. You'll see zinc in there. It also helps with your man milk. If you're trying to conceive, have a baby, anything like that, zinc is usually going to be like the number one cheapest compound, cheapest chemical that you can take. Actually, it's a base supplement. You can also get zinc in your multivitamin, but I like to take just a full zinc pill every couple of days. I don't do it every day. Same with magnesium. Helps with that male support, we'll call it. Also helps with like your blood and moving the blood and your circulation all around your body. So zinc is a good one. Super cheap as well. A lot of these are super cheap. Like the fish oil is super cheap. We're talking about pennies per day to take these. The next one is turmeric. And with turmeric, you're going to want to take it with this black pepper at the same time. So get this combination pill. If you just take the turmeric straight up, the absorption isn't really very good. But if you take the turmeric with a black pepper, it helps the absorption something like 2,000%, something crazy like that. So those two chemicals, those two compounds together are huge. So turmeric helps with your liver, and it helps to reduce inflammation. So a lot of people talk about inflammation, or you see it and you read it, and a lot of things with like anti-aging and antioxidants, it's all about reducing inflammation. But what the hell is inflammation, right? What it is it results from the two primary things that it results from is sugar. So these refined sugars from desserts and sweets and all this like gross, basically drugs that are made by the food industry. You don't want to take these refined sugars. Causes these insulin spikes, and that's really what the inflammation is. All this like gastrointestinal stuff, because it can't process these sugars. Like the sugar just goes straight from your stomach into the bloodstream. Like you get a energy rush and then an energy crash. You really don't want to do that for your sustained energy. So turmeric helps reduce inflammation. You want to keep inflammation as low as possible. When your body's inflamed, you're in this like heightened state, the chemical processes, you age faster. You also get inflammation from these seed oils. So these like vegetable oils and cooking oils and stuff. any like fried foods, deep fried foods, anything like that, stay away from. So obviously like the fast food places, the French fries, all of this stuff is really bad and causes inflammation, and turmeric helps reduce inflammation. Also, turmeric helps with this gut health, which also affects your brain health. So there's this gut-brain axis where what's happening inside your brain and all the chemicals, all like the serotonin and oxytocin, like all these like feel-good chemicals, all these like thinking chemicals, these are all, the precursors are all made inside your gut. So what's happening in your stomach controls what's happening in your mind. So there's this symbiosis between the two, and turmeric really helps get everything on point. So it helps with your mental clarity at the same time. Turmeric's huge. I'm super happy that I started taking it, and they take it a lot in India. There's all these like studies, just a really good compound to take. The next one, and we're getting into some of the more expensive and boutique ones, which help with anti-aging. So once you get to like a high point in your career, you want to be able to sustain that. And one of the ways I do that is with resveratrol. So resveratrol is a newer compound, a newer supplement. It's a little expensive. It costs about maybe 50 cents or $1 a day or so. But what it is if you've ever heard that drinking red wine is actually good for you, the reason for that is there's this chemical called resveratrol. What it is, it comes from the plant, and it comes from the plant's fruit and inside the vine of the plant. And when the plant gets ripe and then it starts to die, it starts to pump out all these special compounds into the fruit to make the fruit last as long as possible, because the fruit, to procreate the plant, it wants to be really ripe fruit so that an animal comes along, eats it, and spreads the seed somewhere else, right? That's like the whole point of fruit, is for an animal to come eat the seed and move the plant somewhere else. So the plant is trying to keep the fruit as ripe as possible for as long as possible. So the chemical that's doing that is this resveratrol. So when you start taking this in your body, it has a lot of anti-aging effects. This one is really popular on QVC and all these like late night, supplement ones. All the old ladies are taking these now. So resveratrol is a really great one to take. Once you, and this is more my anti-aging stack, once you hit like 35 or so, that's really when you want to start taking these more advanced supplements. CoQ10, I think we talked about. I guess I had 2 in here. The next one is ginseng. And this is ginseng complex. So there's many different kinds of ginseng. It's a popular supplement in China, in India. Think of these places and think about like how the people look and how well they age and how well their skin looks and everything like that. That's because they're taking ginseng. Another one to take, especially good for memory if you're having like a lot of fogginess, is ginkgo biloba. I don't take that one every single day. What I do is I take it for a month, then maybe I'll go off and I'll take it again. But ginseng I take every day, and ginkgo you can also take every day. And again, you don't have to take like the 2, 3, 4 pill recommendation that's on the bottle. 1 a day is good. Just get that supplement in your system, get that compound in your system working. It's going to do wonders for your memory. And really memory, what the big thing is when you're like running through emails or you're trying to remember what a client said or something, or you're doing your post sales call notes, when you have good memory, that stuff just comes much faster. And what it is doing is it's saving you time. And remember, time is money, and a lot of this is about optimizing your results, optimizing your time. So ginseng and ginkgo biloba is going to be huge. All right, the next one is L-tyrosine. So this one is more for mood support. So this chemical is actually in a lot of Parmesan cheese and Romano cheese, oddly enough. So when you're sprinkling that cheese on your pizza, you'll see some people that like their Parmesan cheese, they'll put a lot on and they'll be like fiends for it, and they don't really know why. And of course it tastes good, but one of the reasons is because it has this L-tyrosine compound in it, and this compound has been shown to boost your mood, boost your energy levels, all like your serotonin and all like your brain chemical compounds. This L-tyrosine really helps with that stuff. So if you're feeling a little depressed, mood swings, you're just feeling like generally down, maybe low energy, maybe you're uninspired and you're having trouble finding that motivation at work, try this L-tyrosine stuff. Again, super cheap compound. I think that bottle was like $7 and I got a 2-for-1 on it. So it's gonna last me like 4 or 5 months for $7. So we're talking about pennies a day for some of these compounds. And the benefits, how you're gonna personally feel when you take these, is gonna be amazing. The next one is NMN. So NMN, that's Nancy, Mike, Nancy. And let me try to say this one. Nicotinamide mononucleotide. So this is another newer supplement. And it has to do with anti-aging. And basically there's this intracellular chemical in your body called NAD. Your NAD levels, when you get older, they start to drop. And the issue is you burn more of this NAD at the same time you're producing less. So what happens is if you get really old, like 70, 80, 90, your NAD drops. You're also burning a lot of it during the day. You hit this inflection point, and you'll see old people, they kind of like drop off a cliff within a couple of weeks, and then unfortunately they pass away. So you'll see old people, they're aging, and then they drop off the cliff. The reason for that is because their NAD level and their NAD burn rate has hit that inflection point, and really it's all about intracellular energy, like inside your mitochondria and inside your DNA and everything, all this stuff. The NMN really helps with this. So this is an anti-aging support compound. You want to take this one with some oils, like the fish oil. Some people take olive oil. You also want to take the TMG stuff inside the grains. That's going to help with absorption. This chemical is a little tougher to absorb for your body. Not that it causes like stomach issues, it's just like a lot of it can pass through if you're not taking these other precursors for it to bind to. But this one is huge. The first couple of days I started taking it, I felt like a little tired. I'm not sure if it was because my sleep schedule was off or something, but after like 4 or 5 days, I started having like basically unlimited energy during my waking hours. My lifts went up. I went up like a couple of reps on each of my lifts. I just felt better throughout the day. Waking up was easier. Just felt like really good. It felt like I was 20 years old again. I'm 37 now, and I feel the same as I did when I was 18. I don't have any aches, any pains, no brain fogginess, crystal clear upstairs, just feeling overall mint. All right, do I have any more? A couple more here. Big one I take a lot, 3 times a day, is caffeine. So a lot of people drink coffee, they go to Starbucks, they spend $5, $7, $8 on a coffee. There's a lot of calories inside the coffee, so it's costing you money, it's costing you calories. Just take a caffeine pill. You can get them on Amazon. You can also find them at the grocery store. Sometimes they're kind of hard to find. But what I would recommend, just get it on Amazon. Get like 6 or 8 bottles. It'll last you a long time. I take 200 milligrams of caffeine 3 times a day. You'll see other people on YouTube that take like over a gram of caffeine per day for like 10, 20, 30 years. Caffeine, it obviously gives you energy, but it also helps with your mental too. There's been studies that it helps with mood disorders. It also allows you to have the receptors in your brain for some of those happiness chemicals to actually connect. So like the serotonin and oxytocin and, you know, all of these brain chemicals, caffeine has been shown to help these. So if you want to, you know, not be drinking coffee all day long, have these caffeine pills. I always keep like 1 or 2 in my pocket when I'm going out, if I know. Helps keep you alert, long drives, long work sessions. It's almost like a mini Adderall. Yeah. Since I started taking those, life's been way better. Productivity's been way better. My lifts are good. Caffeine helps with lifting. So couldn't recommend it more. Super B complex, we talked about that one. One other thing we didn't talk about is vitamin D. So the way you get vitamin D is from the sun. Try to get at least 15-20 minutes of sun directly on your body, on your chest, and then also on your lower parts is going to be huge. So if you can go naked and get actual sunlight, do it. The results, you're going to feel great. Also, you're not going to get sick. A lot of people get sick because they stay inside, their vitamin D levels drop really low, and then they interact with one of these like everyday pathogens. But normally, like say during the summer when you're getting a lot of sun, that's why there's not a lot of colds. It's not because it's actually cold out or anything like that. It's because people's vitamin D levels are elevated. So vitamin D is going to be huge. It helps with your testosterone synthesis. It also helps with your estrogen synthesis if you're a woman. So the important thing is getting the sun on as much of your body as possible. Tanning beds, you don't get the same ultraviolet light, which helps with the vitamin D synthesis. Also with vitamin D, you want to make sure you're getting enough precursors. So like drink your milk, ingest the vitamin D, and then your body has to synthesize it through your skin. Your skin is your biggest organ. Think of yourself almost like a little plant, right? You want to get the sun on your skin. Don't go out it so much that you get sunburnt. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about 15, 20, 30 minutes a day, and you'll be good on your vitamin D. That one is also critical. All right, and I think the last one I have here is ashwagandha. So this one, people take it to boost their testosterone, but it's a minor boost, and what it's actually doing is it's lowering your cortisol. So your cortisol is your stress hormone, and when you're stressed out, it's going to be hard for you to produce your primary compound. So either that's testosterone for men or estrogen for women. So when your cortisol spikes for men, what's going to happen is you're going to be stressed, right? You're going to be stressed, and it's going to boost your estrogen. This is going to boost your fat collection, like you're going to collect more fat around your body, and it's going to lower your test, right? The opposite happens for women. When you're stressed, right? Women, their test goes up and their estrogen goes down because they need to become like almost like more manly to fight the stressor, fight against whatever's stressing them out. So ashwagandha lowers your cortisol, and when you lower your stress hormone, your cortisol, what you're doing is you're allowing those other hormones to synthesize and represent themselves within your body. So ashwagandha helps with this hormone synthesis process by reducing your cortisol. It's also super cheap. One thing that people experience on ashwagandha is apathy. They feel like, oh, I just don't care about anything. life has no purpose and they lose some motivation. So be a little careful with ashwagandha. If you find that happening with you, maybe decycle, maybe do a couple weeks on, couple weeks off. But I see benefits from it, and I like having more of that indifferent attitude anyways, and being less stressed. I make better decisions when I'm in that state, and the ashwagandha really helps with that. I think it's also a type of ginseng, something like that. All right, guys, so that's about it. The last thing I'll talk about is where I get my other 50% of my calories. So 50% of it comes from these doctored up protein shakes where I'm doing the protein, the milk, the fish oil, all these healthy grains. So basically like chewing my protein shake, right? It still tastes good, good flavor. I had another video talking about how cooking food makes you poor. So what I do instead of cooking food is I buy it at some of these quick serve healthy fast food places. So there's two that I found that are really good that I am loving. One is Chipotle. I think pretty much everyone has eaten at Chipotle, right? Another one is Sweet Green. They have this like honey chicken with quinoa and sweet potatoes and a good healthy serving of chicken. Tastes great. Basically everything you need. You can have them add some tomatoes and beans and onions at the end. So that and Chipotle. And then what I do when I go to these restaurants is I'll bring a can of sardines or herrings. So these are like pure protein and pure fat, and you get all those like fatty acids that you get from the fish oil. You really can't have enough. You can't overdose on fatty acids. They're just super good for you. So what I do is I get my Chipotle bowl, right? Throw on a can of sardines. These are super cheap, like $1.50 a can. These 20 grams of protein per can. I'll also add maybe some guacamole, again with the healthy fats. And the last thing is I'll take a piece of fruit with me, like a banana is great, or an orange if you like that citrus. So the other 50% of my calories are usually coming from my bowl. And I'll also doctor up the bowl with the sardines. I'll also eat these straight out of the can. If I'm really pressed for time or I really can't get anywhere, I'll do the sardines with just like a piece of wheat bread or something like that. Not fancy at all, but remember, we're going for budget, we're going for performance, and we're going for longevity, mental health, muscle building, clarity at work, motivation. That's the reason I take all of these. And once you start doing it every day, you get into a little routine. You'll find what works best for you. You'll find things that you like that I didn't list. You'll find things that you don't like, which maybe you'll reduce. But again, remember the 80-20 rule. You're looking to get most of the benefit with just like that least amount of committed work. So kind of a long video here, but it's a full overview of what I take. I also do lifting and walking. Like I said, I'm 37 now. I feel 22. I probably look maybe 32, but what really happens is when you get older, when you get into your 40s, your 50s, so when you're 40, you look 35. When you're 50, you look like you're 40 and you're performing like you're 40. When you're 60, you look like you're 45. When you're 70, you look like you're 50. When you're 80, you look like you're 60. When you're 100, you look like you're 70. And everything in your body is working. Your mind's working, your lower parts are working, right? Everything's hitting on all cylinders. That's the reason why you want to focus on a good supplement profile and a good overall diet. Thanks guys. If you like this content, be sure to check back. I have several videos all about sales, business mastery, but what also leads into that is the exercise, maintaining the body, maintaining the mind. That stuff is so critical. I can't stress it enough. All right, guys, that's it for this one. I'll catch you on the next one.